This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform helping you succeed online.
How's it, Grant here, and welcome to my camera comparison between the Vivo X200 Ultra and the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, a couple of the current Ultra style phones in both these manufacturer lineups. And to date, the X200 Ultra is probably my favorite camera system on a smartphone today, but the Xiaomi 15 Ultra should be able to keep up with it and even exceed it in certain areas, at least on paper, with its larger 1-inch type main sensor compared to the Vivo's 1/1.28-inch main sensor. And the Xiaomi even has a dual telephoto system compared to the single telephoto system on the X200 Ultra. And the 15 Ultra even has the same 200 megapixel HP9 sensor that the Vivo has, which is one of the largest telephoto sensors on any camera system today. The Vivo will beat it out on paper on the ultra wide angle camera with a larger image sensor there. But as we all know, it's not only about the hardware, it's also about the software image processing. So that's why, as I usually do, I'm going to show you a bunch of photos and videos in both good and low light conditions, so you can decide for yourself which of these two camera systems are going to be best for your smartphone camera needs. So go ahead and take a look at all the photos and videos and let me know what you think. you're a content creator or a smartphone camera enthusiast like me who likes to take a bunch of photos and videos and share them through a bunch of online platforms, but like one place to showcase all your work while maintaining creative control and flexibility while using a simple and easy to use platform, then consider giving Squarespace a try. Simply sign up for a free trial, then use their Blueprint AI website builder to put together your website in minutes, or select from their library of templates to get started. It's easy to pull in content from YouTube, Instagram, other social sites, and even your own photos and videos. Quickly add your social media links to quickly display them on your site as well. It's also easy to add and customize an online form for people and brands to easily reach out and contact you. And once you're ready to publish your website, go to squarespace.com/grantlikestech to save 10% off your first purchase of your website or domain. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video, which helps me bring you more content like this. Now let's get on with the rest of the video. So here's a test of the rear cameras on the Vivo X200 Ultra and Xiaomi 15 Ultra. This is the ultra wide angle cameras to start out on each at 4K 60 frames per second. And as you can see, the Xiaomi has the wider field of view, and so I'm just going to pan around here so you get a side-by-side view of these ultra wide angle cameras. In this particular setting in the park here, pan back up and we'll move into the main camera on the Vivo, 35mm, and 23mm main camera here on the Xiaomi. And so I'll turn on the audio enhancement feature here on the Vivo. So vocal enhancement is now on, so there should be more background noise suppression. I don't see such an option on the Xiaomi, so just take note of that. And so again, I'll just do the same thing and pan around so you get a side-by-side view of these main cameras here in the same setting. And we'll pan around to the right so we can test the zoom here on the cell tower. So we'll move into the 85mm telephoto lens on the Vivo, 70mm telephoto lens there on the Xiaomi, and then the same HP9 sensor but at 100mm there on the Xiaomi 15. And we can move into a bit more zoom here. Let's move into maybe like a 10x or so on the Vivo, and we can do the same thing here on the Xiaomi. There we go. And it's hard to get these to line up, so my bad, but we'll now go to a max zoom here on the Vivo at 18.6, and we can actually go to probably a 20x equivalent here on the Xiaomi. And then we can move all the way to the max zoom of 30 on the Xiaomi 15. So I'm just gonna go back and forth to try to get that in frame. And then we'll move all the way back out to 1x. And then we'll test autofocus here on the post with the Vivo first. So pretty fast autofocus here on the Vivo. And now on the Xiaomi, 1-inch type sensor. So both of these have a lot of nice natural bokeh or background blur. And I'll just walk down the stairs here. So we can test the stabilization, and you can see what that looks like here side by side as you walk around. And I'll just jog to try to stress out that stabilization. So there you go, quick 4K 60 frames per second test here with the Vivo X200 Ultra and Xiaomi 15 Ultra. Alright, so here's a video sample from the rear cameras of the X200 Ultra and Xiaomi 15 Ultra. This is with the ultra wide angle camera here right now. I'm just gonna pan around here. It's a nice pink salt pond, mostly salt right now in the summer, so a lot of the water's probably dried out. But I'll go ahead into the main lens now. And on the Xiaomi, so this is now the main camera on each. And I'm going to turn on the audio enhancement on the Vivo since it's really windy. So now vocal enhancement is on the Vivo, and there's no such sound enhancement that I can see on the Xiaomi. So there should be a lot less background wind noise on the Vivo right now. Again, this is the main camera. And then we'll go ahead and try to punch in and zoom. So let's go into let's go to the 70mm telephoto on the Xiaomi and the 85mm here on the Vivo. Just pan around so you just see what the telephoto cameras look like here. And we'll move into the 100mm telephoto periscope on the Xiaomi and compare that to the same HP9 sensor on the Vivo at 85mm. And then we'll try a max zoom test here. So on the Xiaomi we can get all the way in. That's now 15, and we'll get all the way into 30x zoom there. I can back that out.
same thing on the Vivo. And that gets to about 13.4. And we can back that one out as well. So there you go. Quick video sample here, 4K 60. Everyone, so we're back with the rear cameras, this time with portrait video turned on. And so you should be seeing this artificial background blur right now, which is adjustable on each. So you can add more or less blur if you want. And of course, the Vivo is going to have the tighter crop at 35mm from this main camera, while the Leica is going to have the wider field of view at 23mm. And so I'm just going to pan around this way so you can see what this effect looks like here with the sun shining more directly into the cameras and how that affects the picture quality and the effect. And I'll pan this way and I'll just start walking so we can test the stabilization and how the effect holds up with some movement here. So let me know what you think about this portrait video on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra and Vivo X200 Ultra. Everyone, so here's a test of the front-facing cameras on the Vivo X200 Ultra and Xiaomi 15 Ultra. This is being recorded at the max resolution and frame rate, which is 4K 60 frames per second. And right now, I don't have any audio enhancements turned on, but I can turn it on the Vivo. So vocal enhancement turned on right now. So there you go. There should be more background noise suppression on the Vivo. I don't see any kind of sound controls here on the Xiaomi. So take note of that. And I'll just pan around this way so you can see what this looks like with the sun shining more directly into the cameras and how that affects the overall picture quality and exposure there. And I'll pan back around this way and I'll just walk so we can test the stabilization and what that looks like side by side here. So let me know what you think about the front-facing cameras here on the Vivo X200 Ultra and Xiaomi 15 Ultra. Hey everyone, so we're back with the front-facing cameras on the Vivo X200 Ultra and Xiaomi 15 Ultra, this time with portrait video turned on, so you should see this artificial background blur. And they're both adjustable, so you could adjust the f-stop to as more blur or less blur as you want here. But the sun is shining directly onto my face, so this should be the optimal conditions because this effect usually requires a good amount of light here. But if I pan around this way, you can see what it looks like with the sun shining more directly into the cameras and how that affects the picture quality and the effect. And we'll just bring it back up this way and pan around. And we'll just walk so we can test the stabilization and you can see how this effect holds up with some movement. So let me know what you think about portrait video here on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra and Vivo X200 Ultra. Alright, so here's a low-light video test of the rear cameras of the Vivo X200 Ultra and Xiaomi 15 Ultra. This is the ultra-wide-angle camera to start out on each at 4K 60 frames per second. And you'll notice that the Xiaomi has the wider field of view, but a bit darker. A little bit smaller sensor than the Vivo's ultra-wide-angle sensor. And again, 60 frames per second will make things a bit darker anyway at night. Let's go ahead and move into the main camera on the Vivo and now on the Xiaomi. So the Vivo is going to have a tighter frame at 35mm versus the 23mm on the main camera of the Xiaomi, which has a slightly larger 1-inch type sensor. So you can see the main camera side by side and how they handle that bright street light. And we can move into the 85mm telephoto on the Vivo, 70mm telephoto on the Xiaomi. And we can move into the same HP9 sensor, telephoto sensor on the Xiaomi. And then we'll back them both out here. And we'll pan around this way and we'll just walk to test the stabilization. So you can see what that looks like side by side. Also a little bit darker area as we walk down this pathway here than the really bright lights that you just saw. And then there'll be a bright street light as we round the corner. So you can see how they handle that light transition from bright to dark to really bright. You can see there. And so we'll walk to right about here. So you can see what it looks like here down this kind of alleyway here, being lit up by those lights and the side lights here on either side. I'll pan up on the building and into the night sky. So you can see that looks like probably some light pollution, but that's how they compare there. And just a quick 4K 60 frames per second video test here at night. Let me know what you think. So here's a low-light video test of the front-facing cameras of the Vivo X200 Ultra and Xiaomi 15 Ultra. This is being shot at the highest resolution and frame rate possible, 4K 60 frames per second. And right now I have the audio enhancement off on the Vivo and I'll turn it on. So right now you have vocal enhancement on the Vivo. So there should be more background noise suppression and good timing because I've got a plane flying over me right now. I don't see any kind of audio settings here on the Xiaomi that would be noise canceling or anything like that. So I'll just move this way so you can see how these cameras look with that really bright street light behind me and how that might affect the overall picture quality here. And I'll just walk to testing stabilization so you can see what that looks like side by side here. And also move away from that bright light and over into maybe a little bit of a slightly darker area right here so you can see what that looks like in this lighting. And as you round over here, I'll pan all the way around so you can see how it looks with a bunch of those really bright street lights shining directly into the cameras right there. And overall doing pretty well considering how really bright those lights are. And I'll move back into this area here so you can see what this looks like in this dimmer lighting side by side. And it's going to be warmer lighting, so if that's what you're seeing, that's what's more accurate. But in the viewfinder, it's a little bit warmer on the Vivo versus what I'm seeing on the Xiaomi, which is a little bit cooler and actually a little bit clearer, at least in the viewfinder. But let me know what you're seeing here now that the video is posted. So that's just a quick front-facing camera tester and some low light 4K 60 frames per second. Let me know what you think about this footage here.